What's going on, everybody, and happy Father's Day to all my fathers out there. This is the Black Dad Chronicles. I am your host, Courtney McIntosh, and yes, this is being recorded on Father's Day, albeit at 3 o'clock in the morning. And the reason why it's being recorded at 3 o'clock in the morning is because I will be attending a Father's Day brunch tomorrow, and it's a potluck at the homie Meech's house. And so I have to cook. I got off late. I was tired. I didn't have no money when I got off work, so I had to come home, grab my cash, sat on the couch, start chilling with the wife. The kids was running around, and I was just chilling. So I got up, and, only thing I got to do is, I got to cook some beans, and just bring some tortillas and make some guacamole. I'm gonna make the guacamole in the morning. But man, I could not find my can opener. So I had to run to Meijer and get a can opener. After I had already started, prepping the beans. So, I had my onions diced, I had my tomatoes diced, I had my garlic diced, and then I'm looking around. Where is the can opener? So I had to run to Meijer, get a can opener. But anyway, long story short, I'm up cooking right now. Y'all should be in my house right now. Too bad you ain't got smell-o-vision on your radio or your phone or your computer or wherever you listen to this, because, man, it smells great in my house. But yeah, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. So, before we get started, I just want to introduce, hold on, I got the book of the month around here somewhere. All right, now here it is. The book of the month for the Black Dad Chronicles book of the month for the month of June 2017 is The Power of Broke by Damon John, star of ABC's Shark Tank. People, if you're my age, you know him for being one of the faces behind FUBU, For Us, By Us. And his story his book is called The Power of Broke with Daniel Paisner. How empty pockets, a tight budget, and a hunger for success can become your greatest competitive advantage. So I picked this up from the Auburn Hills Library. Go support your local libraries, people. You can find anything that you need at your library. Like the Auburn Hills Public Library, we got books, video games, audio books, like wow DVDs. The kids area is humongous. So, go to your local library, get you some books to read if you ain't got the cash to just be buying books all the time. Just support the library, see what you can find. But once again, the Black Dad Chronicles book of the month for the month of June is The Power of Broke by Damon John, and that is replacing the May book of the month, which is The Fire Next Time. The Fire Next Time for, oh my goodness. You guys know what I mean. But anyway, so this is just a special edition. Also got another announcement to make. Coming this Friday, that will be, once again, this Friday, June 23rd, 2017, the Black Dad Sports Show will be premiering. So yeah, I have another podcast. I'm going to be talking all local Detroit sports. Maybe not all. I'm going to focus on the Pistons, the Red Wings, the Lions, and the Tigers also. And then I'll cover some other sports, probably like Premier League, because I love soccer. My son loves soccer. Michigan football, Michigan State football, stuff like that. And I'll be covering as a fan. I won't be following the team to every single home game and stuff like that. Because the only one of these local teams that I really follow like that is Michigan football and the Pistons. I love my Pistons. You know what I'm saying? SVG. Let's get this draft pick, right, man. Make a move or something. You know what I'm saying? Get us a higher pick, man. It's a loaded draft. But anyway, so shout out to everybody who's been rocking with me. I really appreciate all the love. You guys really seem to be enjoying the interviews that I've been posting. I got some more coming. But today, this episode, I just want to, just take some time out to say thank you to all the men in my life who have positively influenced me as a father, as a human being, as a man, as a husband, and just, say thank you to them, because, people, you take so many pieces of people, people can teach you things, and you could just be like, okay, I get that. Or, you'll be like, oh, I don't get it. But then you get it later and it clicks. But you don't get a chance to say thank you to those people. So I just want to acknowledge a couple people, to say thank you. But before I do that, I know I keep saying before I do that. So, I got a real interesting situation coming up. So my son is 13. He is headed to the 8th grade. I have not had the talk about the birds and the bees with him yet. And, when I talk to him, I'm not going to mention birds and the bees at all. But, I'm going to have the sex talk with him. And I'm really, really nervous, because I really, don't know how to, because, if I'm talking to my wife, I'm comfortable talking about sex, but, it's weird thinking about having to talk to a kid, especially a 13-year-old kid, about sex, especially, a 13-year-old kid who seems to be oblivious to, sex and relationships and all that. My son ain't even, looking at girls right now, man. It's just like he's just trying to, like, when can I get to the next Yu-Gi-Oh game or something like that, or, hooping or soccer. And it's just how I was, man. I was interested in girls, but I really didn't get interested in girls until I got to high school. And, I ended up becoming, taking up real estate in the friend zone. I was the king of the friend zone, all throughout high school. But, I'm really nervous about having this conversation with him, just because I don't know what angle I should do it from, man. Because nobody ever had to talk with me. And I got into porn really early. I think I saw my first porn when I was about 10 years old, 11 years old, and it messed me up. I can honestly and truly say that messed me up. And so I don't want to, let him watch porn or something like that. Give him, like, instructional DVDs or something like that. That somebody actually did suggest that to me. That's the reason why I'm bringing it up. Somebody was like, yo, man, show them, like, they have the instructional stuff, the clean stuff. But no, I don't want them to do that, because, my belief, I am a Christian. My belief is, sex should only happen within the confines of marriage, So with that being said, I'm a little nervous to have this conversation with him. And I'm actually thinking about, going live with it and recording it, but he's already, I don't think I'm going to do that, because CJ's already kind of walled off and not standoffish, but he's not really comfortable expressing himself and expressing, his feelings, unless he's upset or, bored. Then he has no problem, addressing his feelings. But just in regular conversation, he's just not comfortable with it, and that's okay. I'm not necessarily comfortable with it still, and I'm 36 years old, but like I said, I'm comfortable talking about sex with my wife. I could talk about sex with her all the time, but it's different when you're doing it from a teaching perspective. So anybody who listens to this podcast who has, kids who they've had to talk with, just, hit me up. Let me know how you did it. I already got, as a matter of fact, his best friend's mom I was talking to not too long ago, and she told me that she went ahead and had to talk with him because he just was asking questions. So, she just broke it down. And the thing is, like, CJ hasn't asked any questions. It's like he hasn't been curious about it at all, and I kind of sort of feel conflicted because I feel like, he hasn't even asked any questions about it, hasn't asked any questions about the female body or his body or anything like that. Just doesn't seem to be interested. So should I go ahead and bring it up? But then I was talking to my mom and she was like, well, either you could do it or he could find out in the streets or through one of his friends, and that'll be all wrong. So I don't want him to learn it that way. I want to actually have the conversation with him, unlike my father. My father wasn't able to have that conversation with me because, by the time I was of age and thinking about it, he had already passed away. Sorry for the yawn. Like I said, it is 3:16 in the morning that I'm recording this, but I'm not recording it live. So, let's get into, the thanks that I want to give. But first, I want to introduce you to one of my sponsors. It's Father's Day, ladies. It's already too late, fellas. You know what I'm saying? Father's Day is today. Now, if you're still looking for a last minute gift, my boy Johnny Mason over at Relax at J Mace can hook you up a bracelet in like 10, 15, 20 minutes. 10, 15, 20 minutes, and it's good quality, and it's going to keep for a long time. I got 5 bracelets from Johnny, and I paid for them all. And, well, one of them he gave me as a birthday present, but I paid for them all because he puts in the quality work, to hook you up with a good bracelet, So go ahead and show him some love. You can find the Facebook page, it's Relax by J Mace. And you can find him also on Instagram, JMace300 is his Instagram handle. You can see all the beauty that he posts up there. And, your father won't forget it. Your pops won't forget it. You know what I'm saying? Your pops will like it. Your pops will be styling. You know what I'm saying? Cause that's my ice on my wrist. You know what I'm saying? I just got this white and silver one from him. It's a beast, but, check him out. $20 for a bracelet. However you want to customize, he can customize it. My cousin from out of town, she not going to be here till Friday. She coming in, this Friday, staying for the weekend. Shout out to my cousin Deshauna. She was like, Courtney, I need one of these. My boy Johnny hooked her up, and when she get here, when she touch down, I'll probably have them for her. She'll be taken care of. But anyway, let's get into these things. So right now, I want to just take some time out to acknowledge, the men who I can say, I looked up to. They were there to just show me something, growing up. It wasn't like I was, left on my own to figure out a lot of stuff. I mean, I was, like I said, I didn't really have the blueprint when I became a father because, I didn't have anybody really to show me, but I did have certain men in my life that, I kind of hold dear to me, and who's always been there for me, along the way at some point or another in my life. So the first person I want to thank is, Mr. Andre Brown, Uncle Andre, as we call him, is my Uncle Keith's best friend, and they've been friends for years. And so Uncle Andre, was the first guy that I can remember ever being a father figure to us, and it's like he wanted it. We were always over their house in the summertime, on school breaks, and it was crazy because the middle school me and my sister went to, shout out to Hallie Open Middle School, they lived right on the same block that Hallie was on, so we could walk over there after school, and kick it and chill, you know what I'm saying? And Uncle Andre really has a special place in my heart because he showed me that when you're a man, you have to speak up for yourself like a man. I can remember this one incident where we was in Taco Bell. I'll never forget this. We was in Taco Bell. It was me, Lil Andre, I want to say, my sister Muff. I'll never forget this. I bought a Mexican pizza and that mug was broke. And I was like, dang. He was like, what, you need a fork? I was like, yeah. He was like, go up there and ask for a fork. And it was the Taco Bell. This Taco Bell is not there no more, but I want to say it's the Taco. It was like up on 6 Mile in Livernois or somewhere around there. There's a Taco Bell up there, or it might have been the Taco Bell that's across the street from Northland. I can't remember, but it's a Taco Bell. So, it was crowded people. So instead of, walking up to the window, and asking for a fork, man, I was like 15. So I was just, I was still kind of timid, still kind of meek. So I'm standing in line and I could feel like Uncle Andre's gaze on the back of my head. And I turned and I could see him out the corner of my eye. He just looked like he was just angry, and not angry, but just disappointed. So he got up, walked to the window while I'm still at the back of the line, and said, "Hey, can I get a fork?" And I don't know why they didn't have the forks out, because now they do. He was like, "Hey, can I get a fork? My taco is broken. I need a fork. Can I have a fork, please?" And, right away they gave him the fork. And I just remember feeling so embarrassed. But in that instance, he told me, he was like, look, man, if you want something, you got to go get it. You got to be a man and go get it. You can't just be all meek and timid and just think people are just going to hand things to you. If you want something, you have to go get it. You have to ask for it. You have to speak up. Another thing Uncle Andre, showed us was, I've told you guys before that none of my friends had their fathers in their life. Their parent, nobody's parents was married, except for, my boy Craig. And we used to see, his dad up at the school all the time in middle school, man. Everybody knew Mr. Young. But none, besides Craig, none of my friends had fathers. Their fathers weren't in their life. And I didn't meet Craig until 6th grade, So, Uncle Andre was the first, guy I can really remember. He was married, you know what I'm saying, and was a husband, and shout out to Auntie Donna. They're divorced now. I think he's moved on and remarried, but, growing up, I just didn't see that unless it was him, that was something amazing. It was something that I wanted and I liked seeing it, and it was just like, dog, why don't I have that? I wish I had that. I remember just thinking about my cousin Andre, like, man, y'all lucky, man. You got your dad, you know what I'm saying? I ain't seen my dad in, years. So, my Uncle Andre, he's the one that gave me the sex talk, but he didn't really give me the sex talk now that I'm thinking about it. He did, show me the proper way how to put a condom on and to use a condom, using a cucumber. That's what, but, that's how I learned how to put a condom on, Uncle Andre, Ironing my clothes, Uncle Andre, So I just want to take some time out to, say thank you to Uncle Andre, wherever you are. I know he lives in San Antonio. I don't know if he listens to the podcast or if he even knows about it, but, I just want to thank him for, showing me how to stand up straight, be a man, Next, I want to, thank, Mr. Martin Patton. Mr. Patton, they were our neighbors growing up. Crystal and Christopher, Keisha, Lil Martin, Mrs. Patton, they were our neighbors for a long time growing up, man. And we grew up with them. And, it was like the second time really I saw, a man in the house with his kids and their mother, and, they were married, and it was like, wow, man. So, I learned a lot. I learned, how to look out for your kids, because Mr. Patton looked out for all of us, man. All of our friends, you know what I'm saying? They weren't his kids, but, I remember he always used to take us someplace, man. They was part of a van club, had a fly conversion van, And we was always at the little, cookouts they went to, what I'm saying, took us to the park and all that, family reunions, they family lived down the block from us. So, once they moved in and next door and we got close, and it was just like, man, we was everywhere with them, and he treated us like he knew we didn't have a father. So it was like he had to set an example, you know what I'm saying? Not only for his kids, but for us. So he did that, and I just want to, hey, man, y'all keep hearing my computer. I hope this ain't coming through on the podcast, but it probably is. But, I just want to thank him from the bottom of my heart for just looking out and showing me what you were supposed to do when you're in the house, Next, I want to say, thank my first role model. Well, my first two role models I can ever remember, man. My grandfather, God bless his soul, he passed when we were 14, when me and my sister was 14. And I remember, man, Gramps was just like, he was granddad, and he wasn't like, the loving and affectionate granddad. He was just kind of like the hands-off granddad, but he'd give you that stern talking to when you needed it. But he always, wherever we needed to go, man, because my mom was working 2 and 3 jobs sometimes. Gramps took us to every single basketball practice. We went to church with him, and we used to hate going to church with him only because we would be there so long. He was a deacon at Tabernacle Baptist Church. He used to take us to the barbershop all the time, before we found the one up the block from us. I learned how to cook from him. And the reason why breakfast is my favorite meal of the day. Anybody who knows me knows that breakfast is my favorite meal of the day. Pancakes are my favorite food. And it's because I watched him make breakfast growing up. It seems like I was always in the kitchen when Gramps was cooking. Always. And speaking of cooking, I got to check these beans. Man, I wish y'all could smell my house right now, man, because the beans is, smelling so right. But yeah, my grandfather is the guy who is how I learned to cook, man. I remember grits, hash browns, I cook like him. It's like he used to fix us pancakes, grits, eggs, sausage, all that stuff all together, man. It would seem like basically every day, man, That's how we grew up. That's what we grew up eating. That's who I grew up watching in the kitchen, trying to emulate him. Now because he was from, Gramps was from Georgia, so I thought he ate some nasty, he ate chitlins. I ain't never ate chitlins, bro. And, I never remember he brought some raccoon in the house that he, went hunting and got. I remember him, like, cleaning fish in the kitchen, with the fish scales all over the place. And then I remember, man, he used to take us up to this little ice cream shop on Finkel and, man, where was that shop? Not Livernois. It might have been Finkel and Livernois, but it was like an ice cream shop, florist, and they had like, a little bit of produce. I remember they used to have like the biggest grapes, in this place. But I remember Gramps used to always give me black cherry ice cream. Man, I don't know, who knows, what Muffin Duck used to give. I always used to get black cherry. His favorite was butter pecan. We used to keep butter pecan ice cream in the freezer because that was his favorite, man. But I remember one time me and Muff was, in school, and this was before Duck was in school. We got so mad at Gramps one day because him and Duck came, to pick us up, and Duck had a Happy Meal, and he ain't had nothing for us. I remember me and Muff being so mad, man. But, I miss Gramps. Rest in peace. We all miss Gramps, man. All of us. And then my cousin Kevin Melson, man. Kevin was probably really, really my first role model because, he's not too much older he's probably like 2.5, 3 years older than me and Muff. And, he hooped, and I used to just want to be like Kevin, man, because he played ball all the time. All he did was hoop, man, it seemed. And he actually turned that into a pretty successful career. He hooped overseas for about 10 years. Now, he and his beautiful family, shout out to Regin, shout out to the kids, live in Indianapolis, man, and they, run a basketball training, at camps and stuff like that. Regin is a high school basketball coach. She's also the chaplain of the Indiana Fever of the WNBA. Shout out to them. But man, I remember, growing up, I used to get my hair cut the same way all the time. Just get a Caesar, even all over, I ain't had no waves. I ain't had nothing. But man, I remember Kevin used to get his hair cut like certain basketball players. The first basketball player I remember him getting his hair cut like was David Robinson, because David Robinson was in the Navy. He had the high and tight, but it was also kind of cut in a V in the front. And David Robinson actually still kind of wears his hair like that to this day. Except for, his hairline can push back a little bit, but he still kind of wears his hair like the exact same way. So I saw Kevin with that hairstyle. I was like, dog, I gotta have that hairstyle. Then when Larry Johnson came in the league, Grandma Ma, man, he had the fade with the part in the middle, and then Kevin had that haircut. I was like, dog, cuz I gotta get my haircut like you. So I started getting my haircut like that. It was just like, I just wanted to be like Kevin, and I emulated him so much and got so much inspiration from him. I mean, one of the things I had to deal with as a child, because I guess, and it's funny because I keep looking at CJ and I draw these parallels like, I wasn't like that, but man, I was like that, man. I was 13 years old at like 5'6", 5'7", wearing a size 13 shoe, so I got clowned for that, man. And my mom wasn't trying to buy me, the bigger your feet get, the more your shoes gonna cost, even though that's a lie. But my mom wasn't trying to keep buying me shoes, so I used to get all my shoes from Kevin, his old shoes, because he kept them fresh, and because he was hooping, he got, like team shoes. So I remember I got my first pair of Jordans from him, the Jordan 3 Cements. I got those from Kevin, and there was a size 12, but I wore them boys almost every day, and because it was real leather, they stretched, so they start fitting my feet. And, my foot's gotten big. I actually wear a 14, but I was 13 years old, because I was thinking about this the other day. I bought CJ some soccer cleats, and I bought him a 6.5, and it was too small. I'm like, man, you got some big feet. But then I'm like, I was 13 wearing a 13, so but man, shout out to Kevin. I always wanted to be like Kevin, man. Growing up, I just everything, man. I started dribbling a tennis ball because Kevin dribbled a tennis ball, all that stuff. And man, it's so beautiful to see him with his kids, because he's the goofy cousin who's always playing, always fun, and he's like that. Watching him with his kids is a beautiful thing, because he's the exact same way, man. So Kev, I love you. I know you listen to the podcast. Thanks for inspiring me growing up. Thanks for being an example for me. The next person I want to thank is a man named Darren Calhoun. Now, I didn't meet Darren until I was an adult. So, I had met Robin, and I'll never forget, man. Me and Robin was friends. We was cool. I liked her, but I had a girlfriend, and I'll never forget, man. April 1st, 2003, because it was Good Friday. I was like, yo, you want me to go to church with you? And it was like, yo, when a dude want to go to church with you, man, that's when you got him. So, I was like, yo, can I roll to church with y'all on Good Friday? She's like, yeah, she asked her grandma. Her grandma was like cool with a little smirk, because she knew what was up. May knew what was up. And then I remember, man, walking into church with them, because it was the three of us. Everybody was looking at me, smiling and all that stuff, cheesing. I'm like, man, what the heck? Cause man, I'm telling you, man, I was that kid that was just oblivious to everything, cause I didn't know nothing, man. I didn't know what that meant to, go, if a girl brought a guy to church that she was really feeling him. I just really liked her, and I just wanted to go to church with her, man. And I was like, but man, and one of the funny dynamics is, she had a longtime boyfriend throughout high school, And you know what I'm saying, he cheated on her and stuff like that, but he still went to the same church. He was the drummer at the church. And I remember, like, she was really cool with his mom. And I remember the first time I went to church with her, and she was like, she looked at me, she smiled, gave me a big old hug, and, looked at Robin and smiled, rest in peace to Miss Wanda. But, it was just like, man, what's going on here? So Darren was one of the first men I met at church, and he's kind of like, I looked to him for spiritual guidance, man. I wish he moved. He got a promotion at his job last year, so now he don't live in Michigan anymore, man, but I miss him. I'm trying to get him on the podcast soon. Man, working Skype to record a podcast, is more difficult than you would think, man. But, but shout out to Darren. He's, every time I need him, I just shoot him a text, and, he hit me right back, no matter what time of day or night it is. If I need something, if I need to talk, he shoot me a text, and boom. Now, last but not least, and it's I know I'm going, it's only like number 5, and it's been, a lot more men, a lot more brothers that I've encountered in my life who I've taken pieces from, as far as being a father, being a good husband. But, this was kind of like the list, So last but not least, I gotta, send a huge thank you and a huge shout out to my Uncle Keith Mobley. Uncle Keith, man, was the guy. Once I was about 16, I didn't know what Uncle Keith did for a long time as a job, but I knew he was always fresh, always had a fly suit on, and he always kept a fly car, man. He'll never let me forget the day. It was probably like 8 years old, man, 4th of July, and we had the sparklers, and, my mom lit the sparklers. I let that mug, I was holding it it was almost out, man. And if you ever held a sparkler before, when it start getting down to the tip and you holding it at a certain point, that metal gets hot. So I was holding it kind of up on the stem, and it was getting hot, man. So I was just swinging around. So then I threw it up in the air, landed right on the hood of his BMW. Man, he was so mad, but I didn't get in trouble for it. But I could see he was mad. But, and he still brings that up jokingly to this day, man. But Uncle Keith, I just wanted to be like, when I had a vision of myself, I imagined myself in a black suit with some sunglasses on and jumping out a fly car, man. That, because that's how Uncle Keith was to me. He was like this larger than life, this superhero, And, we wasn't his kids, and he knew we wasn't his kids, man, but he always had time for us. Always had time for us, man. Spending, I can remember like me, Duck and Lil Andre spending the night over his house on a Friday night, just like destroying copious amounts of pizza, and then waking up, eating breakfast, going to the movies the next day, man. And Uncle Keith has always inspired me. You know what I'm saying? And he never gave me nothing. He never gave me a handout. He's always like, look, man, you don't get handouts in life. You know what I'm saying? You got to work for them. And I worked for, my spot. You got to work for it. And he's never given me anything. He's never handed out. But man, to this day, Uncle Keith still shoot me a card, and we battle on birthday cards, man. He and I and my mom, we go back and forth who could get each other like the most outrageous or funniest card. And I didn't got him the last 2 years. Uncle Keith, you slipping. And I know, he's listened to the podcast a couple times, but he's gonna listen to this one because I'm gonna send it to him. But man, Uncle Keith has always been man, an example of for how I dressed. And, like I said, to this day, always shoot a birthday card, always shooting a text. I give him advice and help on how to use his phone properly. How gotta help the old timers out, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to technology, I'm just kidding, Uncle Keith. But yeah, man, and then every quarter, man, Uncle Keith, we have this time called Time with your favorite uncle, because to us, we better refer to him as our favorite uncle. Me, Muff, Duck, Kip, Kevin, and Stacy. That's my mom's kids and my Aunt Lenny's kids. And every quarter, he takes us out to lunch. He fits the bill. He picks the place, and he doesn't have to do all that stuff, man. But he does it because he loves us, and he does it because we're family. And he takes this time out, what I'm saying? He's been doing it since we were kids. It's not like something that he just started, as an adult. Man, it's like, I've even, I'm like, yo, Uncle Keith, let's go catch some lunch. And the times that he and I are going out to lunch solo, he's paid for it. And I invited him out, and I'm like, I invited you out, man, but, he copped a Porsche 2 years ago. I was the first one he let drive it, you know what I'm saying? So Uncle Keith always has a special spot in my heart, man. My kids love him. He even, hits Robin up on her birthday every single year. He remembers all the kids' birthdays, hits them on their, on their birthdays every single year. And Uncle Keith has really, out of all the men in my life, Uncle Keith was most, like a father to me. And Uncle Keith, I just want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, I love you, sir. You have been a great help to me in my life. You've been a great example and a great inspiration to me all my life. And I just want to thank you. And I ask that you keep doing it. And when you go on your hot air balloon ride, I want to be the one, with you. So, like I said, thanks. And not only to Uncle Keith, I want to thank all the men who's positively and negatively, positively for the most part, influenced me, throughout my life, as I make this journey on, through manhood and fatherhood. So, with that being said, I got an announcement to make. Oh, well, I already made the announcement early in the show. But remember, Friday, July 23rd, the day after the NBA draft, I will be debuting the Black Dad Sports Show. It's going to be me. I might have, a co-host. I'm working on some things. I got a couple interviews coming up that I think you guys are really going to enjoy with, some really interesting people, really good conversation. So I just want to thank everybody who's ever, downloaded, shared, just took the time out to listen to this podcast, because you don't have to. But the fact that you took your 30, your 45 minutes to an hour to listen to me talk, words can't express how much I appreciate y'all. And, also, if you want to join the conversation, there's a couple ways to do that. You could shoot me a message on Facebook, or you could, leave a comment or a post on the Black Dad Chronicles Facebook page. Is the Black Dad. It's www.facebook.com/the Black Dad Chronicles. You can shoot me a message on Instagram. Black Dad Chronicles is my Instagram handle. I'm gonna be changing my Twitter handle probably, because Black Dad Crying is kind of like I don't like the fact that I can't spell the whole thing out. You can also hit me on Google Plus, Courtney McIntosh. But for right now, you can hit me on Twitter at BlackDadCrying. You can also shoot me an email at blackdadcrying@gmail.com. So remember, you can get the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Find me on iTunes, like, download, share, comment, rate. Give me that 5-star review. But until next time, I told y'all I might have some bars for y'all. You know what I'm saying? So, I really like the music that I chose for my intro and outro songs. So, I got this outro playing, so I really think I'm about to give y'all some bars. And I'm not a rapper, yo. I'm not a rapper, but I think I got some bars. I'm feeling inspired, man. I was listening to some Big Crit, man. I gotta shout out to Big Crit. Man, hold on. I'm gonna come in. Yo, I'm trying to catch the beat at the right time. I told y'all I got bars for y'all. I ain't got no cars for y'all. Yeah, my flow is whack, man, but I ain't got no charge for y'all. I'm cooking up them beans and rice. Yeah, man, my food is nice. Yo, anyway, yeah, I told y'all, I'm not a rapper, but anyway, I'm more like Puff or Damon Dash. I could talk over the beat, that's right, but anyway, thanks for joining along. Thanks for listening. I think I really am going to write some bars to this, though, because this beat is dope, man. This beat is so killer, and I don't even know. Yeah, I found it off of YouTube, man. It's just one of those joints on YouTube that's for free. And I was like, yo, I want this to be my outro song. Peace and love.